Straight ahead on 12 News Weekend, Up, Up and Away.
Hey!
Meet a Maple Grove teen who is soaring to reach one big goal. Plus, the buzz over bees. Meet a Brooklyn Park beekeeper who wants to see his city's ordinance changed. But first, concern for pet owners.
We have no endemic immunity in the population, so all dogs are highly susceptible.
Local vets say it's only a matter of time before dog flu reaches Minnesota. 12 News Weekend starts right now. Hello and thanks for joining us on 12 News Weekend. I'm Delane Cleveland.
And I'm Mike Johnson. Pet owners are on high alert this weekend as a highly contagious strain of dog flu sweeps across the Midwest.
So far, there are no cases of dog flu yet in Minnesota, but local vets tell us it's only a matter of time. At Happy Tails in Brooklyn Park, up to 30 four-legged friends come to this boarding facility every day. Only instead of calling it boarding, they refer to it as pet camp.
We're cage-free, so all of the overnight rooms were custom designed, so they have tempered glass doors, and then they're out of their rooms during the day playing.
However, with the looming threat of canine influenza, which has already affected dogs in 40 states, management has taken notice.
We get a lot of out-of-town boarders that are coming in, especially during the summertime. And we probably will not be taking any of them just because of this outbreak.
It's an outbreak that has yet to make it to Minnesota, but veterinarians at the Animal Wellness Center of Maple Grove say it's all but inevitable.
With there not being any endemic immunity, all dogs are naive, and they are saying that essentially any dog that comes into contact with an infected dog should be considered infected.
Dr. Katie Ambrose says canine flu is a viral infection with a variety of symptoms.
Primarily a cough along with lethargy or acting really tired, oftentimes accompanied by a fever, not wanting to eat, some anorexia.
To prepare, clinic employees have had a number of meetings to discuss protocols for isolation, treatment, and client education.
Part of that strategy is absolutely focused on protecting our other patients.
In Brooklyn Park, the employees at the Happy Tails Pet Camp tell owners that if a dog isn't feeling well, they shouldn't bring it in.
And it's, in the sense, similar to a daycare for children.
Yet until experts concoct a vaccination, vets say all pet owners should be on alert.
We just take it day by day.
Veterinarians say dog owners shouldn't panic, but until they have a better handle on the virus, you might want to avoid dog parks and only board your pets if absolutely necessary.
Income tax season ended last week, but for some taxpayers, it's just the beginning of a headache that could take months to resolve. In a 3-day period this week, 7 Plymouth residents reported to police that someone had already filed taxes using their names and social security numbers to get an illegal tax refund. It's happening all over the country. The IRS says fraud prosecutions jumped 75% last year.
Well, it's technically not even your refund. They're just making up numbers a lot of times. They don't have your W-2 information, generally speaking. They don't necessarily need all of your information. They need your Social Security number or your ITIN to file the tax return.
And if that happens to you, the IRS will send a notice saying the return has already been filed using that Social Security number. And then you just have to be patient because it could take up to 6 months to clear up, depending on how complex the case is.
In our weekend review, an unsealed search warrant revealed more details in the case against the Crystal father accused of killing his 10-year-old son. The search warrant says a knife was found in the Mississippi River near where the body of Barway Collins was found. The boy's father, Pierre Collins, is charged with his murder. Funeral plans for the child are now scheduled for next Saturday, May 2nd. The mega deal that would have impacted your cable TV provider is now off. Comcast, the nation's largest cable TV provider, pulled the plug on its merger with Time Warner Cable because regulators were not likely to approve it. The FCC expressed concerns that the proposed merger would pose an unacceptable risk to competition and innovation. Time Warner is the nation's second largest cable company. And Robbinsdale area schools will soon learn whether the district will have to hire a new superintendent. Aldo Sicoli is a finalist to become superintendent of Roseville area schools. Roseville could make a decision as early as Wednesday. Sicoli has been Robbinsdale's superintendent for the past 6 years.
The grocery store market in Plymouth could get a little more crowded. Fresh Thyme Farmers Market plans to open a store at the corner of Highway 55 and Vicksburg Lane. It would be part of a redevelopment project that would also include a Goodwill Easter Seals store and a Starbucks. Illinois-based Fresh Thyme has a simple store concept with a focus on fresh produce, organic foods, and hormone-free meats. The Plymouth Planning Commission is expected to review the proposal in May. Brooklyn Park is taking a closer look at the city's beekeeping ordinance.
One local beekeeper requested the change, but it's taking much longer than he anticipated. Shannon Sladden explains what he's doing with his hives in the meantime.
It's just something I like to spend my time with. It's a hobby of mine.
Cole Foss has 2 hives of honeybees.
They're clean and industrious, right? So, and they work as busy as a bee, so they really don't have time to pay attention to people unless, they're right up into the hive.
He thought the bees would be a good addition to his backyard garden in Brooklyn Park.
I'm running out of space. How do I just be more efficient with what I have? And that's when I started thinking about bees because of how effective they are and how efficient they are with pollination.
But right now, his bees are on vacation in Corcoran.
It's been kind of a long process.
While Foss waits for Brooklyn Park to change the beekeeping ordinance so he can bring them home.
Worst case scenarios, they stay out here for the summer, and then I try to work through it in either the fall or next spring.
Foss asked for the change last fall before he got his hives. Right now, the ordinance says bees can be kept on lots bigger than 5 acres.
We're not a farm community anymore. We don't raise goats or chickens and cattle and such, and so bees kind of fit into that category.
There are also concerns if a neighbor could be allergic to bees.
If you were to go door to door in my area, the West District, I think you would find that most people would not be in favor of their neighbor having high concentrations of bees in their backyard right next to them.
We do have to watch the restrictions on it and the licensing and that sort of thing to make sure these people are actually trained to do that. But I have no problem with beekeeping.
Yeah, there definitely is a lot of wind.
Foss says his bees are docile and mainly concerned not with people, but with their work.
There were bees kind of all over flying around you, and you're just kind of working and you're dumping these bees in the hive, and it just kind of shows you how much they just don't care. That they're just trying to figure out what's going on, where do I need to be, where's my queen, and kind of get on with their day.
In Brooklyn Park, Shannon Slatton, 12 News.
The Brooklyn Park City Council approved the first reading of the ordinance. It's back for a second reading on May 11th. Well, coming up on 12 News Weekend, a refresher on recycling.
What should be recycled that often gets thrown away? Then later in sports, Armstrong takes on Osseo Park Center in a boys lacrosse thriller.
But first, a warm-up to start the work week. Monday, we approach 70 degrees.
Welcome back. Well, how much do you really know about recycling?
Apparently, more can be recycled than you might think. As Alexander Renzel reports, Hennepin County offered North Hennepin students this week a recycling refresher.
So you got to figure out which one goes where.
It's an eye-opening exercise at North Hennepin Community College as students sort recyclables from trash and organics.
Is this recyclable?
It's paper, so yes. But what if there's food on it, such as a pizza box or microwavable container?
So you can't recycle anything that has food on it. So if you spill some on the paper, then it is definitely trash.
When it comes to recycling in our own households, there's always room for improvement.
The milk carton that we put in the fridge is of good quality. So, but we throw in the trash. I didn't know that. So I didn't know that was recyclable.
Each year in Hennepin County, the amount of trash that's generated is enough to fill Target Field 11 times.
We are only recycling at 40% of what can be recycled in the state. So we have a lot of room to improve, and we think, we can do it here in Minnesota.
Each small effort counts, says Patience Cazzo of Hennepin County. Take, for example, those plastic beverage caps that many of us throw away before recycling the bottle. Turns out the caps can be recycled. And while this egg carton can't be recycled, it can be composted. It can seem like a lot to sort through, but the bottom line is, do what you can.
I would say, recycle, don't worry about getting it wrong. I mean, people do the best that they can. At your house or your apartment?
That's Alexander Renzel reporting. If you're interested in seeing a list of all the things that can and cannot be recycled, go to our website at 12.tv and you'll find a link within the story. Well, coming up, a Maple Grove teens high-flying aerial acrobatics.
But first, the Totino Grace baseball team is excelling in its first season in the Northwest Suburban Conference. And that's coming up in sports with Jay Wilcox.
Welcome back. Jay's here now at sports, and spring sports full effect then.
And a lacrosse game where things really went back and forth.
Yeah, an exciting one. A good matchup, pretty closely matched teams here. The Armstrong boys lacrosse team is off to a solid start, while Osseo Park Center's had some close losses against good teams. And they played on a cold night at Park Center this week. Armstrong's Eric Evans sets up Justin Blando for the goal just 12 seconds in for a 1-0 Armstrong lead. Still in the first minute, and Joe Pofro goes up high with the shot for the first of his 5 goals. Armstrong's up 4-1 after a quarter. In the final seconds of the first half, nice passing for Osseo Park Center, and Damon Lingeson scores. OPC trails it though 5-2 at the half. They come out strong in the third quarter. Boone Almquist rifles the shot in. They're within 6-5 after 3. The fourth quarter is a wild one. Almquist bounces a shot home from the front of the net, and Osseo Park Center leads it 7-6. Armstrong, though, comes back. Nathan Borowick's turnaround shot goes just under the crossbar, and it's ruled a goal, and it's tied 8-8. A minute later, Borowick picks it up from the scrum and tucks a close shot in for a 9-8 lead. Pofferl adds 2 more. Armstrong wins 11-8. They added a win over Andover to move to 4-0 for the season. Park Center's softball team is playing well after a slow start. They met up with district rival Osseo. The Orioles looking for their first win. Taylor Bridgman's slap ground ball gets through for Osseo. Courtney Calkins hustles home for a 1-0 lead in the top of the first. In the bottom of the fourth inning, the Pirates get the bats going. Kristen Audette strokes a single to left. It scores Shaylee Martinson. It's 3-1 Park Center. 2 batters later, Jillian Rosby rips a hit past shortstop. That scores Audette and Morgan Sherva. The Pirates go up 5-1. More hitting in the bottom of the fifth when Martinson bloops a hit over the second baseman to score Naomi Fields. Park Center wins at 6-2. They lost to a good Spring Lake Park squad and then beat Andover on Thursday. The Totino Grace baseball team is off to a hot start in its first season in the Northwest Suburban Conference. Because of the cold, the Eagles were back in the gym for practice earlier this week, but they've been pretty good outside. TG has won 6 of 8 games and scored 9 or more runs in 5 of those games.
It's definitely sweet to have a really strong lineup, to be able to be like any point in this lineup we can get a rally going or get at least a couple runs no matter where the inning starts off at in the lineup. We can always get at least 1 or 2 runs each inning, and so I really think that puts pressures on teams, and it really makes them be like, okay, we can't just defend these guys for 1 inning, we have to defend them for every inning of the game.
Grace won the North Suburban Conference title last spring, but was bounced out of the Section 5 3A tournament in 3 games. This year's team is aiming to avoid the same result, and playing in the Northwest Suburban could give the Eagles an advantage in the postseason.
It really makes every day a battle. I mean, all these teams are really good, battle-tested, big schools. We see a lot of them in our section playoffs, and have had just battles with those guys before. And so now to battle them all year and to battle them at the end is just, you know, we're just kind of gearing up because every day is just a little tougher than the last one.
I know for me, I was kind of disappointed last season of where we ended up, but, you know, it's a new year. Baseball's a funny game. It's just got to play it by each and every game.
The Eagles beat Centennial and Champlain Park in conference games this week before being shut out by Eden Prairie in a non-conference game. The Providence Academy baseball team was on a 5-game winning streak coming into their home game against IMAC conference opponent Breck this week. Bottom of the second, bases loaded. Ben Arndt lifts a fly ball over the left fielder's head. Michael Burns heads home, and he'll run into the Breck catcher, which is usually against the rules in high school baseball. Danny Fafinski also scores on the play, and it's ruled that since the Breck catcher was in the base path and did not have possession of the ball, that no rule was violated, so it's a 3-run triple and a 4-0 lead. Jackson Baird then singles up the middle to bring home Arndt, and it's 5-0 Providence. And they aren't done. Jesse Barron takes the low pitch for a hit here to score Baird for a 6-0 Lions lead. In the bottom of the fifth, Arndt will go the other way for a 2-out base hit to score William Wade, and it becomes 7-2 Lions. As a pitcher, Barron strikes out 14 on the day and goes the distance 10-2. Providence is the final. So they have put together a pretty good start to the season.
Shows you how tough that catching position is.
Oh,
Ooh.
that's for sure.
Non-contact? Yeah. Thank you. Still ahead, a skill that's probably best left for the don't try this at home department.
You'll meet a Maple Grove teen who is one of the highest ranked aerial skiers in the world. We'll be right back.
Well, you could say a Maple Grove teen is in rarefied air.
Elle Gaudette recently earned a spot on the U.S. national aerial ski team and is ranked third among all U.S. ladies. Reporter Sonia Goins has more on her quest to make it to the 2018 Winter Olympics.
I do a lot of weight stuff here, getting stronger for next season.
You could say every day is leg day for Elle Gaudette. We caught up with her in Osseo for weight training. She works out at least 2 hours a day, 6 days a week.
Lots of squats, a lot of leg lift, core work.
17-year-old Elle is no stranger to hard work. We caught up with her a year and a half ago while she trained on a trampoline. Elle combined her love for gymnastics and her passion for skiing to become an exceptional aerial skier.
I loved skiing before I started aerial, so to be doing it every day is like a dream come true to me.
Elle just finished her second competitive season and had a breakout year. She took second place at the Europa Cup in Switzerland. She also got a bronze medal at the Freestyle Junior Cup in Italy and is now ranked third in the world for ladies 20 years old and under.
Competing against some girls that went to the last Olympics and stuff, and just to be on that podium this year was huge for me.
Soaring to extreme heights actually doesn't come easy for Elle.
I am afraid of heights, but when you're up there, you don't really have time to be afraid. Your mind's on other things.
She says she got over that fear by believing in herself.
It's all confidence. It's a big mental game too for me. So if I'm confident, I know I can do it.
She now has her eyes set on the 2018 Winter Olympics and will start training next month with the U.S. national aerial team.
It's actually a really big step for me, so I'm super excited. One of my goals that I've been working on for the past 2 years.
In Osseo, Sonia Goins, 12 News.
Elle is also scoring high marks in school. She has a tutor year-round and earns A's and B's. I have to say, just looking at that, it just freaked me out seeing everything that she did.
How can you do that? I don't know how you do that the first time without killing yourself.
I can't even do it jumping off of a couch,
Right.
let alone trying to do that off of a ski jump. That's crazy. All right, well, that's all the news for now. Thanks for joining us.
Have a great weekend, everyone. We'll see you back here again Monday, beginning at 4.